Take it across to Saurabh Mukherjea, chat more about not just the decisive mandate, how the market reaction has been. And Saurabh, good morning. We understand you're in New Delhi. What's the buzz? Because this morning in Mumbai, just everyone's talking about whether or not Amit Shah is the new finance minister or who else. I guess Delhi must be the same sentiment.
Right. Absolutely. I think this is a city which thrives on power politics. And when you're forming the cabinet of the world's largest democracy, you can almost feel the power in the air. So a big day for the country and for this city. But I guess we'll see over the course of the day. I think what we've seen yesterday is there's going to be a great deal of continuity in the government. Most of the senior faces who were there in the previous administration are there in the current cabinet. So there will be a great deal of continuity regardless of whoever's the finance minister.
Saurabh, so then why there is so much of speculation? Why are markets so curious?
Right. So I suppose the resignation of the erstwhile finance minister pulling out of the race to some extent sets the cat amongst the pigeons. The familiar figure for Mumbai, Piyush Goyal. But I think as you guys are yourselves saying, there's a degree of speculation as to who will be or won't be the finance minister. So let's see how the day pans out. What I was getting at is regardless of who's the FM, I think the real politic behind the running of government, the real politic behind how the finance ministry is run, I think the style and the template will be very similar. Because after all, regardless of who was the finance minister, who was the specific person holding the portfolio, what's notable about the NDA governments, about Narendra Modi's governments is the degree of central control. So I think regardless of who's the specific holder of the FM portfolio, I think we'll see a great deal of continuity in the way the finance ministry portfolio has been managed.
Indeed, the finance minister, whoever it may be, will certainly have his task cut out. But we were culling out some fairly interesting data, Saurabh, a short while ago, talking about pretty much a replication in the way the index has moved prior to the elections and post of 2014 and this year as well. What exactly is your assessment as to now with this big event out the way, the fact that we have crude oil prices as well on our side, maybe earnings is still a bit jittery as to what the course of action is now going to be for the markets and what is really going to be on top of mind?
I think the way human psychology works, it's always tempting, and it happens as you guys were showing with the election results. It happens time after time. A major event happens, a positive event such as say the NDA's landslide victory, or say even a negative event such as say an airline crash. The human mind extrapolates that event exaggerates the importance of it, and you can see that in successive elections that there's an immediate hope trade after the election results that said government will transform the economy, the markets, the stock markets, bond markets, the currency respond to it, and then over the course of the subsequent weeks and months, the market comes to realize that things will be pretty much where they were 3 months ago, 6 months ago. So I think we'll go through a similar cycle again. It is but, we're all human beings, it is but natural to believe that after such a big landslide victory, the NDA will transform things, and you can see that euphoria sweeping through the bond market, the currency market and the stock market. But my reckoning is over the next 2-3 months, you'll get back to a degree of normal service where we come back to reality and back to realizing that much of the same challenges that have plagued the country over the last 5-10 years, they're not just going to disappear into thin air.
Saurabh, back to Amit Shah, the buzzword all across this morning. Do you think the markets would like it if he's chosen as the finance minister?
I think the markets are fairly unsentimental about these things. I think what the market is looking for is a finance minister who comes, gives say, minor relief to the stock market in the form of, say, relaxation of STT, doesn't hike capital gains tax, doesn't bring in, say, an estate duty tax, etc. I don't think the market is that fussed about personalities, Aisha. My reckoning is, given how centralized the command and control system of the Narendra Modi government is as it is, I don't think the market will set great store by who exactly is the specific personality. They will look for a relatively market-friendly finance minister, and in that regard, there's no reason to believe Amit Shah will be, a choice that will worry the markets. The markets understand that this is a government where the leader calls the shots to a great extent, and hence whether it is Piyush Goyal or Amit Shah there, I think the market will take it in its strides and move forward and look to the next budget, look to the budget in July and see how the new government performs in its first budgetary outing.
Okay, let's move away from politics, as difficult as it is to do so on a day like today, and Saurabh, talk about earnings instead. Now that we're pretty much done with the Q4 earnings report card, where is it that you've seen some, surprises come in, some inherent strength, or even major disappointments?
I think the worry that we have, and I have to confess, there's a degree of surprise here for us. What we are seeing is, we knew about the NBFC issues. We've been talking about it on your channel for a good 2 years now, the growing crisis in the NBFC ecosystem. What we are seeing, and it surprised us to some extent, is even for well-run companies, say a company like Havells or a company like Page Industries or an Asian Paints, we're seeing channel financing challenges in several different parts of the economy. And talking to distributors and dealers over the last couple of weeks, it is relatively clear that funding crunch, which is impacting NBFC, is impacting a broad swathe of the economy. So obviously car sales and truck sales and bike sales are down, but even more generally, the funding crunch is being felt in many other sectors of the economy, and we could see the impact of that in 4Q earnings of, say, a Page or, say, a Havells. Now, I'm not so sure this can be, wished away in 90 days just because the NDA has had a landslide victory. But I think several of us are looking to see what sort of tangible steps will we see from the new government to deal with this funding crunch. I think oil coming off is just divine for India at this juncture. It gives the RBI room to cut. I hope the RBI cuts quite aggressively. I would love to see a 50 bips rate cut. The RBI has to pump more liquidity into the system. And then between Delhi and Bombay, between RBI, SEBI and Finance Ministry, we're hoping to see a slew of reforms which infuses confidence, money, liquidity and finance back into the money market in Bombay, and from there into the broader economy. I think that's the big trigger that we need to watch carefully. If this escalates further, it'll drag down 1Q earnings quite meaningfully.
All right, Saurabh, let you go on that note then. Thanks much for taking time out and joining in, giving us your take on what's been happening when it comes to the political front and, of course, with respect to the markets.